about to present the Healdsburg Museum's annual Historic Preservation Awards in the categories of residential, commercial, and adaptive reuse. Come on with me now.
Last year we weren't able to present these awards, but this year we figured out a way to do it.
Okay. Our first destination is 1385 Magnolia Drive, the Frank Schwab House.
During the pandemic, I realized I wouldn't be anyplace else but here. And I used this leftover wood from an old barn we had and built these planter boxes to, just really enjoy the fullness of this place. And, over the years, my husband and I just 3 years ago replaced these steps that were falling down. And right now I'm in the middle of just kind of spiffing up my kitchen and making sure that I have good insulation, good windows to look out and see the geysers in the morning. And we really, if you turn around and you can check out all the camellia plants that we've fostered to continue having something blooming all year round on this property.
Well, I'd like to present you with this award from the Healdsburg Museum.
All right, thank you so much.
And it's for the family's use of this property since the 1930s, I believe.
Yes, 1935. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next stop is the Anderson Medico-Dental Building at 301 East Street. Okay. Well, on behalf of the Healdsburg Museum, I'd like to present this award to you, Dave and Kathy Anderson, for the Anderson Medico-Dental Building at 301 East Street. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll tell you a little about the story of this building. We came here in 1973 to practice medicine, and I signed a paper to practice medicine with Dr. Bill Bruce, who was at 301 East Street. And without realizing it, I agreed to buy half the building, which was a really dumb thing, but in the long run, it's really been a smart thing. And then so he left after a couple of years, so we had to buy him out. And so when we owned the building, we went to local architect Michael Rubenstein and said, "Look at these glass blocks. Can't we get rid of these glass blocks?" And he said, "Are you kidding me? That's perfect for the timing of the era when the building was built in 1939. And then we found out it was built by a dentist named Anderson in 1939, so we named it the Anderson Building. So since then we've owned it, and it's been a good thing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And Mike Rubenstein also encouraged us to do some of the painting in the typical style from the 30s and 40s, so he was very helpful in that regard.
And now we're headed to the former Purity grocery store at 120 North Street.
This is a building that my wife and I have been involved with for most of our career in one way or the other. We've owned it for nearly 20 years, but before that we've sold it, managed it many times. It was the original home of Purity Grocers, which was a chain a chain of grocery stores, of which this was one of 34 in small towns throughout Northern California. The architect for all of these was Harry Weiss, a Chicago-based architect that ended up, this was in his early career, and his career evolved into similar but much more elaborate buildings, including the Washington D.C. metro station. This, after Purity moved from a smaller store on the plaza to this building in 1949, and from this building moved to what's now the CVS store. When they moved out of this building, the then owner converted it to retail and offices downstairs and a residence upstairs. For more than a decade, it was Myra and Hoffer's design studios, art studios, and personal residence. In the last decade or so, it has been more of an Airbnb and event space, and it remains as one of the key properties in the heart of Dallas.